The old Holloway mansion loomed over the town like a watchful gargoyle. It stood at the top of Hemlock Hill, shrouded in shadow even on the sunniest day. Locals whispered tales of the mansion, stories passed down through generations. They spoke of the Holloway family, driven to madness and death within its walls. No one dared to go near the house. The windows, like vacant eyes, seemed to follow your every move. The overgrown garden held secrets beneath its thorny vines and twisted branches. The air around the mansion crackled with an eerie energy, a silent warning to stay away. But for Alex, Jamie, and Sam, the whispers and warnings only fueled their curiosity. They were young, restless, and immune to the fears of their elders. They craved adventure, a thrill that would set them apart from the other teenagers in their sleepy town. The Holloway mansion, with its sinister reputation, promised just that. "Are you sure about this?" Jamie asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The three friends huddled beneath a flickering streetlight, their breath misting in the cool night air. The Holloway mansion loomed before them, a silhouette against the pale glow of the moon. Alex, always the bold one, scoffed. "Don't tell me you're chicken, Jamie." He nudged Sam playfully. "What about you, Sam? You scared too?" Sam, usually the voice of reason, surprised them both. "Let's do it," he said, a nervous tremor in his voice. The truth was, he was terrified, but he couldn't let his friends down, couldn't appear weak. And so with a mix of bravado and trepidation, they began their ascent. Each step up the overgrown path, each rustle of leaves sent shivers down their spines. But they pressed on, drawn inexorably towards the mansion and the secrets it held. The old oak door creaked open, groaning in protest after years of neglect. Musty air, thick with the scent of decay, wafted out, causing the boys to cough. Inside, the mansion was a labyrinth of dark hallways and cobweb-draped furniture. Moonlight filtered through grimy windows, casting long, dancing shadows on the walls. They made their way through the ground floor, their hearts pounding in unison with the creaking floorboards. Each room was an echo of a forgotten past, filled with decaying grandeur and an unsettling stillness. As they climbed the grand staircase, the air grew heavy, charged with an unseen energy. The attic door was ajar, a sliver of inky blackness beckoning them forward. Alex pushed it open, and a chorus of whispers seemed to greet them. The air was thick with dust motes dancing in the single beam of moonlight that pierced the gloom. It was colder here, the air heavy with a palpable sense of dread. The attic was a graveyard of forgotten memories. Broken toys lay scattered amongst moth-eaten furniture and stacks of dusty trunks. In the far corner, a massive oak wardrobe stood like a sentinel, its doors slightly ajar. Curiosity overriding their growing fear, they approached the wardrobe. Inside, yellowed parchment spilled from a broken box, covered in faded ink and strange symbols. Old photographs slid across the floor, faces staring back at them with haunting intensity. One photograph, more recent than the others, showed a young woman with sadness etched on her face. Sam picked up a letter, its edges brittle with age. The handwriting was spidery and elegant. He began to read aloud, his voice trembling. The letter spoke of a family torn apart by tragedy and madness, of a darkness that had consumed them all. As he read, the temperature in the attic plummeted, and the shadows seemed to press in closer. A bone-chilling gust of wind slammed the attic door shut, plunging them into darkness. The temperature dropped another degree, sending a wave of goosebumps across their skin. The air grew thick with a cloying floral scent like funeral lilies and damp earth. Panic flared in their chests. They fumbled for their phones, their beams of light weak against the oppressive darkness. The whispers they had heard earlier intensified, swirling around them like a malevolent wind. "We need to get out of here," Jamie stammered, his voice tight with fear. They scrambled to their feet, bumping into each other in their haste to escape the suffocating atmosphere of the attic. But the door wouldn't budge. It was as if an unseen force held it shut, trapping them within the cold embrace of the attic. As they struggled with the door, a rhythmic creaking sound cut through the darkness. It was coming from the far corner of the attic, where a rocking chair sat bathed in the pale moonlight. It rocked back and forth, as if propelled by an unseen hand. Their blood ran cold. The rocking chair had been still only moments before. Now it moved with an eerie life of its own, the sound of its creaking a chilling counterpoint to the frantic beating of their hearts. Sam, his eyes fixed on the rocking chair, felt a cold dread grip him. It was as if something unseen was watching them, toying with them. He knew, with a certainty that chilled him to the bone, that they were not alone in the attic. The rocking chair's creaking intensified, each groan echoing like a scream in the silence of the attic. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream shattered the stillness. It was Jamie, his eyes wide with terror. He pointed a trembling finger towards the staircase. A figure, shrouded in shadows, stood at the top of the stairs. It was tall and gaunt, its features obscured by the darkness. But even in the dim light, they could see its eyes, burning with an eerie, malevolent glow. Terror lent them speed. They threw their weight against the attic door, finally breaking free from its unseen hold. Stumbling and shoving, they burst out of the attic and into the hallway, the ghostly figure in hot pursuit. They careened through the darkened hallways, their breath catching in their throats. Each turn seemed to lead to another darkened corridor, the mansion a labyrinth designed to trap them within its walls. The ghostly figure, its eyes burning ever brighter, seemed to glide effortlessly behind them, its presence heralded by a wave of icy cold. As they rounded a corner, they came face to face with their pursuer. The figure stood before them, its form solidifying in the dim light. It was the woman from the photograph, her face etched with an eternity of sadness and despair. Her eyes, once filled with life, now burned with a cold, otherworldly fire. Sam stumbled back, his foot catching on a loose floorboard. He fell, the wind knocked from his lungs. The ghostly figure glided towards him, its hand outstretched, its touch promising a fate worse than death.